We are the Maryland Center for History and Culture, hands down one of the coolest places that you can visit in this city. Micah Connor joins us again. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Likewise.
So it's Maryland Day, and we called up Maryland Center for History and Culture and said, y'all got anything cool you can show us? They said, you want to see the original survey of Mason and Dixon establishing the border between Maryland and Pennsylvania? And there it is.
There it is in all of its glory. This is a survey that took Mason and Dixon several years to complete. It was initially surveyed between 1763 and then 1767. The map itself was published the following year in 1768. And like you said, their findings helped establish what we know as the Mason-Dixon Line, that line of demarcation running between Pennsylvania and Maryland.
And the detail is incredible. You pointed out every mountain range, every stream, everything.
Every tributary, every tree that they uncovered, they marked it out in painstaking detail.
And a lot of this had to do with who is a resident going to pay taxes to.
Absolutely. So you had residents of Maryland who may not have wanted to pay taxes to the Calverts, so they went and claimed, we're from Pennsylvania. Vice versa, citizens in Pennsylvania, colonists in Pennsylvania may not have wanted to pay taxes to the Penn family, so instead they claimed that they were from Maryland. The survey helped clear that up.
We're not going to get into it because we only have a minute left. It also establishes the border between Maryland and Delaware, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely.
But you can actually see where the representatives from Pennsylvania and Maryland signed and used their
individual wax seals, as well as their own individual signatures, which is pretty unique for a document from this time period. So you have the
Pennsylvania
delegation over here, and then you have the Maryland delegation over here, including the proprietary governor during the time, Governor Horatio Sharp, his personal secretary, John Rideout, and one of my personal favorite signatures, the signature of Daniel St. Thomas Jennifer, who is one of Maryland's 5 signers of the U.S. Constitution.
This is absolutely incredible. And there's the actual description of it. Beautiful cursive handwriting, but that established the border.
Absolutely.
Then, coming up next half hour, Mike, we're going to be joined by a colleague of yours. This had to be marked out so people could see where the border was, and it was in big stones. You all have here one of the original Mason and Dixon stones.
Correct.
And we're going to bring it to you next half hour. But folks, one of the reasons we have Maryland Day is right there. Unbelievable. Mikey, you're awesome. Back to TV Hill. All right, John, welcome back to WJZ at 9 at the Maryland Center for History and Culture. mdhistory.org is the online key to what I think is one of the coolest places in town. Micah Connor was with us last half hour. Now we're joined by David Ballou, and that is one of the boundary stones of the Mason and Dixon survey line.
Yeah, so after Charles Mason and Jeremiah Dixon had spent so many years plotting the Mason-Dixon line, they wanted to make sure that it was permanent and people could see. Every single mile they placed a smaller stone, and this is actually one of the crown stones placed every 5 miles.
Every 5 miles, there was a stone that elaborate showing the boundary?
Yes, yes. Today, if you see them, they might often be buried up to a certain point.
Right.
On the northern-facing side right here, you would have the Penn family crest.
Uh-huh.
And on the south-facing side, on the Maryland side, you would have the Calvert family crest of arms.
That is crazy. Every 5 miles along the northern border of Maryland and the southern border of Pennsylvania.
Yes. And
go ahead.
This particular stone, quarried actually in England and brought over here, and actually came from northern Baltimore County, north of what is now Pretty Boy Reservoir.
That is absolutely. How many of these how many of the original stones, Mike, I know you're over there, but if you want to chime in, just how many of the original stones still exist? Do we know?
I'm not quite sure. You can find many of them still in their original habitat. Some are in museum collections.
Incredible. And this one is here. Now, it says established 1766 boundary stone, Mason and Dixon line. That is incredible. How much do you think that weighs?
Goodness.
Hundreds of pounds?
We brought it up just for the showing today. We aren't collecting.
Wait a minute. Let me get the mic over to you. Say that one more time.
We actually brought it up just for the showing today over the weekend, and it did take about 4 people to transport it up to the galleries.
Okay, normally where is it kept?
In a typical museum, only about 3% of our objects are stored or exhibited at any time. The majority of them are here on site in collection storage.
Well, thanks for bringing it out for us and for other folks. How long will it be on display?
So we're currently in the exhibition collecting Maryland artifacts and community that's rotating all the time. But this stone should be up on display for at least another 3 or 4 weeks.
Incredible. mdhistory.org. And K2 and I, we talk about this off the air between us. You can spend hours in here. This is one of the coolest places going. Micah, always a pleasure. You're a gentleman and a scholar. You're a scholar.
Thank you.
You didn't get it. David, we love you, brother. Hey, everybody behind the camera got it. Back to TV Hill. Happy Maryland Day.
Happy Maryland Day,
to you,
Marty.
John.